Hey guys, King of Charmers here, and welcome to the ultimate adorable and destructive small dancing happy little fairy thingy that's going to take Switch because it's going to beam your opponents to death, called Sunny Cherrim with Hyper Beam. Now we all know Cherrim is a devastatingly cute little individual. When it got buffed with Bullet Seed and Weather Ball, it became an absolute monster. I mean, I always believed in it because I actually experimented with Cherrim a lot, and the preseason I tried to beam with it and actually worked. Not as much as I wish, but now it would be an absolute beast if you actually used it. Anyways, as you see here, I do have 2 5-0s on this day. I go 6-0. The shoutcast you will see today is going to have a 6-0 shoutcast. You're going to see just how powerful Cherrim is able to take Switch, even though you lose the lead. And this is a very versatile team I'm going to show you and what it features. And I'll show you on PV Poké just how beast it is. But as you see here, 2 5-0s, very great team. Definitely recommend if you're trying to climb consistently, or if you are just, or if you're still trying to get those last points to legend. This team works really well, and because you have essentially a double save switch, especially with Cherrim, it's incredibly powerful and really good for the Love Cup. Again, I get 2 5-0s, and I went 6-0. I actually could have probably went 7 or 8-0, but I actually misplayed on the 7th game. But anyways, 6-0 is a strong 6-0, and like I said again, 2 5-0s with this team. It's really strong and really good. Alright, so the team I'm using is Charizard lead, followed by Electrode and Cherrim in the back. With as you see here, as I mentioned, it's Cherrim save switch with a Hyper Beam. However, we're also using Hyper Beam Electrode. So you essentially have a double Hyper Beam save switch, which is really nuts, and you can really just shift between either one. You'll see how I use it in the shoutcast, how you can pretty much choose between Cherrim and Electrode, and as long as you land the Hyper Beam, or if you're able to bait shields expertly, you can take a ton of matchups. Anyways, as you see here, I have a Charizard lead. I'm using Overheat. I'm actually not using Blast Bird, but you kind of need a Wing Attack Zard just because Wing Attack Zard allows you to beat fighters, and it allows you to generate energy and make Dragon Call plays. So you want a Wing Attack Zard. Again, you don't have to have Blast Bird. I actually use a Charizard that I caught all the way back in the day in 2016 when the game first came out, where it was Legacy, and I actually never Elite TM mine. Anyways, again, Charizard lead, Electrode, Cherrim save switch, and you can even use Electrode as a save switch, and this team is very versatile, very safe. As you see here for the overview, it has excellent coverage. Now, its safety is a B, but like if you actually are able, like I mentioned, if you beam through shields, you could take back switch, so it's actually very safe, and it allows you to pivot a lot. Bulk is not that great just because Electrode and Charizard. However, like I said, you're going to do a lot more damage than you will conceivably look at Bulk, unless it's Cherrim. Cherrim's semi-bulky, not too bulky. As you see here for the weaknesses, you are weak to fighters, as you see here. I actually do beat a Mad Cargo in the back. However, like I don't think I feature in this, but I actually beat one in the back. You'll see a lot of times of how I lose lead, and I'm still able to come back just because I'm able to beam everything to death. Again, the reason why you have Wing Attack Zard is so you have a strong matchup against fighters. As you see, this team can lose against Scrafty. It can also lose against Medicham. However, as you see here, with Wing Attack Charizard, we can cover Scrafty. And I actually cover Scrafty in the shoutcast, so we actually lead against one. As you see here, Alola is a kind of Alola and Electrode are probably your 2 worst nightmares to see in the lead. I mean, but they'll see me lose lead and I take it back. You will see how effective Cherrim save switch is. As you see here, Mad Cargo, Scrafty are your 2 biggest weaknesses, so is Crustle, but I do have matches that feature me beating all of these. So again, you have a very strong matchup against pretty much everything as long as you can land the beam, unless it's Mad Cargo. If it's Mad Cargo, you're gonna have to chip away at it and then KO it, but I've beaten Mad Cargos in the back. If it's in Elite, it's a little more rough, but like you could still there's still win cons against Mad Cargo. Again, very powerful and strong team. Again, you kind of need a Wing Attack Charizard. It's also Hyper Beam Electrode, and it was Hyper Beam Cherrim. So double save switch. Cherrim is going to be your primary save switch, but I will show you in some scenarios where I will actually switch into Electrode to take shields to take more shields and threaten more. You'll see that in the shoutcast. Alright, as you see here, we're going to get the battle started. I'm going to show the 6-0 so that you can see, like, because it's, like, really nuts. I think I lose lead a few times here. This really showcases how Cherrim can take back switch for you with Hyper Beam. As you see, we get our first opponent, we get Charizard into an Alomomola. This is a horrible lead for us, so we are going to switch immediately. As you see here, I'm going to actually switch into my Electrode because I want to actually save Cherrim for the back. Because Cherrim actually has a better matchup versus Alomomola. So, well, actually both of these do. It's just I'd rather take out both of their shields first, as you see with what I'm doing here. You have the option. This is kind of a double save switch team because Electrode is also a fantastic save switch with Hyper Beam. But as you see here, I get the 2 to 0s, which is exactly what I wanted. Because what I have now is I have 2 shields for my Cherrim. So what I'll do here, I'm actually going to send in Charizard. And I'm gonna I'll shield one. I'm gonna let him take all this damage. I'm gonna save all my shields for my Cherrim. So as you see, I'm going to try and farm down this whole freaking Clefable here. And I Dragon Claw and I try to farm it down. As you see here, it actually gets to another move, which is okay because I can get some energy on Cherrim because the Bullet Seed that comes in should kill. So they actually swap out. As you see, I get a Crystal. So there's actually a mistake here. This is not supposed to be a Razor Leaf Cherrim. I actually forgot to TM it off, so that's why you're seeing Razor Leaf, but either way would work. We would, like, if I had Bullet Seed, I could get to Weather Ball quicker, and then I could just beam whatever's in the back. So I kind of had to finesse my way to, like, fix this match. As you see here, we're going to be able to take out the Crustle. Now, the issue is here, can Cherrim, like, literally live through all this waterfall damage and still take out the Clefable in the back? It should theoretically because of the 2-turn versus like the 3-turn move with Charm, but as you see here, we take out the Alomomola and then we're able to take out the Clefable. If we had Bullet Seed, we would have been fine because I could straight Weather Ball the Crustle to death, and then we would have been a lot safer because we could generate energy quicker. So it would have been actually a lot safer to have Bullet Seed because of the energy generation. As you see, I actually change it. So here you go, I changed Bullet Seed, Razor Leaf into Bullet Seed. So now that we have the correct moveset, we jump right back in. So there you go. You didn't see anything. You saw nothing. You saw absolutely nothing. I did not totally have Razor Leaf instead of Bullet Seed. As you see, we get Charizard into Electrode. This is a horrible lead. Again, horrible lead. This time I will switch to Cherrim. If you get an Electrode, try to switch into Cherrim. If not, switch into Electrode because like a Cherrim has a better match against Electrode. If they happen to stay, it's great. As you see here, we go with the Get Beamed, and they actually don't shield. Get Beamed Clefable through the 2 shields. As you see, with the mighty Hyper Beam, we take back Switch. And we have a decent amount of energy. Now, I probably won't get to this Hyper Beam. I'm frantically trying to get to it. But they're likely going to shield this next Hyper Beam, sadly. And as you see here, they do shield. It's a lot safer to shield than to actually eat another beam. But as you see, Cherrim managed to take a shield and take Switch for us all in one sitting. And now with winning Switch, I can send in my Electrode. I actually don't shield here because I think this is a discharge. As you see here, my opponent does hit a discharge. If that was a Hyper Beam, that would really suck. Now, I'm going to go straight for another. I'll actually shield this time around. I don't want my Charizard on their Electrode, so actually I'm trying to save here, and I actually did. So as you see here, I'm going to bait with Discharge. I over-farmed here, which is kind of dumb, but it's okay. As you see here, they go for the beam of their own. Sorry, dude, I beam way too much for you to get me. It's not going to happen. This Discharge should take their shield, and it actually doesn't, so I was like, wow, okay. You are very, very... dang it, man. I really wanted that beam to go through. Anyways, we're going to switch in Charizard because Charizard is pretty much useless now. My opponent's going to have to basically use a move. They're going to have to burn their energy on Charizard because if not, they're going to take too much damage from this Dragon Claw. And they're going to get Wing Attack down. So basically, it's GG's. My opponent really doesn't have any play here. Like I said, they have to basically throw their energy here or they're going to die to 2 Dragon Claws plus the chip damage from Wing Attack. We take Switch, and we have a lot of fun with these beams. As you see here, I go straight Hyper Beam. I go for the second one. I don't even care because, yo, I'm going to shield, and they actually quit. That's the very first time I actually got a Rage Quit in the middle of a Hyper Beam. But you know what? We landed 2 beams, and they tried to land a beam, but sorry, dude. Like I said, I'm the Beam King. I'm the Beam King. Sorry, dude. I've been doing this in Season 1. I actually made rank 10 within Season 1, so... You ain't gonna get me. I mean, I've been beamed before, so, you know, it comes around, but I factually have beamed more opponents than I have back. Probably an 80-20 ratio. Only 20% of my opponents have successfully beamed me. 80% of the time, I beam them successfully. Actual statistics, by the way. Anyways, as you saw there, Cherrim is a fantastic save switch. It took a shield, and it took Switch for us with the Hyper Beam through. And Electrode does the same exact thing. If you land the Hyper Beam with Electrode, you basically take back switch too. With double Hyper Beams in the back, this is a fantastic team, as I mentioned before. Now, for some odd reason, it's taking forever for us to get another opponent. But as you see here, we do get another one, and I actually get an ace. So it's probably was like, okay, we're just going to give him someone below. We lose the lead again! So this is a third loss lead. Again, we're going to switch into our Cherrim because Cherrim can take these Volt Switches better. And we want to gather energy with Bullet Seed. They fire right away, so I'm expecting this to either be a foul play or discharge. And it is a foul play, which is okay. Because they're either going to switch out or they're going to stay in. As you see, my opponent does elect to stay in. So I'm going to fire a Weather Ball. I'm going to be like, okay, you know, I might be able to get a shield. So I fire the Weather Ball and we do grab a shield. My opponent's still not switching out, so I'm going to actually shield the second one, and then I'm going to Hyper Beam. If this beam goes through, you die. If not, I take your second shield. So either way, it's fine by me. So as you see here, we go. I'm going to go for actually another Weather Ball. I want the second shield, and we don't get it. So I totally should have Hyper Beamed. So that's where I'm regretting the beams. I should have totally Hyper Beamed, but I think I wanted to save all more energy. As you see here, we're still able to take both shields with a triple Weather Ball play. So this is still really good. Now they're in the zeros. You're dead. I have shield advantage. And as you see here, we managed to take our switch. And I'm not going to get to a Hyper Beam, sadly. I should have beamed to charge moves ago. But you know, it worked out. You're in the zeros. So guess what's going to happen? I'm going to let Cherrim die. I'm going to send an Electrode. And you're going to get beamed. Actually, I don't know if I actually... Do I get to it? Because I can get there quickly. But my concern is they're going to get to a move. And I actually don't know what you have in the back. So I'm actually a little concerned right now. As you see, we actually have a Shadow Vileplume in the back. So, sorry, dude. I saved the Hyper Beam because I'm going to send in Charizard. Charizard's pretty much dead weight. And with the Hyper Beam stored, I should be able to do enough chip damage to OKO that Alomomola with my Charizard after doing some chip damage with Charizard. So, not OKO with Charizard, but do chip with Charizard. And then what we're going to do is we're going to beam it. Electrode wins CMP against this Fishy, so I'm pretty much locking it into a very disrespectful no-win condition for my opponent, because as long as I do enough chip damage, I basically am able to end the match with a beam. As you see, I undercharge my Dragon Claw just so I can let my Charizard die, and so I can... This is like, what, the fourth beam? Anyways, get beamed, get ferociously beamed by a shiny Electrode, and that's GG's. 2 matches have ended the beam. Well, technically, my last opponent rage quit with a beam, but you know what? Hey, we still ended with a beam. As you see there, that was, you know, always have a chance to flex. Flex as much as you can with the beams. Especially, this really teaches you how to manage energy very well. So, if you're able to pull these insane plays off, it really teaches you how to be confident in your ability to make really gutsy plays like what I'm doing here. So, as you saw there, we lost the lead again, but we took it back. And we managed to get a really glorious beam off in the end. So, like, this double save switch team is monstrous, especially with, like, Cherrim save switch. As you see, we finally get a lead. We get Ariados into Charizard. I finally get a freaking lead. So, what we're going to do here is our opponent's probably going to switch, and they do switch into their Electrode. So, as you see, I'm going to send in Cherrim right here, because I want to see if they have Discharge or Foul Play, and they do have Foul Play. So, we're going to go straight for the big beams. So, my opponent is either going to shield or not, or they're going to die. Get beamed by the legendary Cherrim, and we get the beam through the shields. Let's go, baby. Another beam. Oh, you are so dead. We get the beam through the shields. We take that switch, and we're about to take all your shields with Weather Ball Boy. We get one, and hopefully we do get the second one. Fortunately, my opponent does have Cross Poison, which I slightly remembered, so they're going to be able to take us out, but that's perfectly fine. We got Charizard, we got Electro, we got 2 shields to their 1, and we are vibing right now. Cherrim's Safe Switch Beam is so freaking good. As you see, they switched into a Alomomola as soon as my Charizard comes out, but we got Electrode, so it's okay. We got 2 shields, we got my Electrode, so I'm going to try to do some really fancy things here to try to see if I can beam my opponent. We're going to get the Discharge off. I should be able to farm this thing down. We're going to shield this Psychic, farm down the Fishy, and I'm going to try to finesse my way to another beam. Yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to finesse my way to another beam. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. We have an Ariados, and my opponent does elect to give up, and that's GG's. As you see, we took the switch back with a beam, and it was so devastating that it was just GG's from there. These beams are madness. As you see, I think that was like the 3rd match where I literally got the beam through, except for that one where I like had to triple Weather Ball. But as you see here, it's so much fun, and it does so much damage. It's ridiculous. The extra fire you get after beaming is just nuts. Scrafty versus Charizard, great lead here for us. They switch into a Momomola. This is where you switch into... I should have switched into Electrode, so don't switch into Cherrim. Switch into Electrode in this matchup. We're still going to go for the Beam, but the reason why you want to switch into Electrode is just because the discharges will... The Volt Switches do more damage, and you can threaten more... You can do more baits with discharge. We get the Beam, and as you see, get beamed through 2 shields, baby. Let's go! 3rd time's a charm, and we just beamed through 2 shields again. So this is what I was talking about. That epic farm down you get after you manage to get a successful Beam. As you see here, we're just gonna fire these weather balls off. Hopefully my opponent does shield, and they do not. So I totally should have went for the Beam again, because we might have been able to get there. But we're just gonna straight weather ball. We're gonna try to get all of our opponent's shields here and set up Electrode for any other Beam play. As you see, we do grab the shield. I'm able to get 3 weather balls or not, because lag actually cost me my shot. Yeah, that lag actually cost me another shot, which really sucks because I would have set us up for a nice like Electro Beam. So instead I send in Charizard. I'm gonna Dragon Claw to get that last shield, and we're just gonna let I think I just let Charizard go. So this is probably a pup or a foul play. Even if it is a foul play, that's fine. We're just gonna farm down here, and they actually have 2 moves. So, I think I shield this one because I don't know what you have in the back, and I'd rather chip it and then beam with Electrode. As you see here, I'm going to go for another Dragon Claw, so we're just going to finish off this Scrafty because it might get an energy for another foul play. I don't want that to happen. And we're able to we get a Wigglytuff, which is great because we actually outpace Wigglytuff to the Beam. As you see here, sorry dude, this is the 3rd straight match where I'm going to end this with a sweet, glorious Hyper Beamu and get freaking beamed again. Let's go, baby. We end with a Beam, a glorious and light of Beam. And as you see there, it's freaking amazing. We have ended 3 straight matches with a Hyper Beam at the end. It's nuts. And guess what? That's a 5-0. Oh! We lost 2 leads in this set. 2 whole leads. And because of Cherrim safe switch, we managed to come back and take the W. It's freaking nuts just how powerful Cherrim is. And those are some really sweet plays. Those are very exciting matches. And that's the first 5-0. I end up 5-0ing again. But I actually, like, I get to the 6-0. So you'll see in the next match, I actually am able to take the next one. But we lost, for this set, we lost lead twice. And we managed to come back because we were able to beam through shields. Other than the one play where I'm like, I should have beamed, we literally beamed through 2 shields, like, what, 3 times? So, it's Cherrim safe switch with Hyper Beam is freaking amazing. 9 times out of 10, for some odd reason, your opponent won't shield, and Electrode has Hyper Beam too, so you have choice of which one you want to switch to. We get Charizard and a Vileplume, great lead for us. Can expect my opponents to switch, and they switch into a Porygon 2, which has me very confused right now. So I know Porygon 2 is likely carrying Tri-Attack, and I actually probably Hyper Beam, Solar Beam, Zap Cannon. I actually don't shield this move, so I'm going to predict it is a Tri-Attack, and actually what happens here is that, yes, it's a Tri-Attack. They don't get the buff, thankfully, because if they get the buff/debuff, it would really suck. It's also 50%. As you see, we get the second move off. I'm actually not going to shield this one. My Charizard's almost going to die, so... As you see here, Tri-Attack does go through. They don't get the buff/debuff. I can get one little Bullet Seed full of Cherrim, but they have switched now, so it's a little scary. So we'll see what we can come out with here. As you see, we get a Vileplume, which is really... We get the Vileplume back, which is really concerning me. I think they have... So I'm guessing they have a Alomomola in the back. So that's why they switched into their Vileplume. As you see here, we're just going to get these Weather Balls off. I'm going to try to get a shield. They catch my Weather Ball. Yeah, they caught my Weather Ball. Very nice. Very nice. So I'm going to get a little more energy here. I'm actually going to try to get a Hyper Beam before I switch out. I have shield advantage here, so I can be a little ballsy. And as you see here, I'm being a little fancy with my... I'm being a little risky here. So we switch in Electrode after they get their Psychic, but that's fine. We're going to send our Electrode. We're going to do some big discharge damage. I overfarm a little more just so that I have 2. I want to get that last shield from that Vileplume and beam it to death. That's like my ultimate goal. As you see, we discharge down, and then we get the Vileplume. So I actually go for the discharge. I want to take out this Vileplume, and unfortunately, I don't think they're going to shield. And they do not. Basically, their goal is to just, like, farm me down and save that shield for my Cherrim, which actually is the smarter play. As you see here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double Weather Ball. That's my win condition here, and that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. They were really cool. Unfortunately, I couldn't get you a cool beam for this one, but we went 6-0, and we actually got 2 5-0s. Cherrim safe switch is amazing. Again, I hope you enjoyed these battles. Hope you enjoyed the beams. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. If you aren't Legend, good luck. You will make Legend if you try really hard. If not, there's always next season. Again, Good luck on your battling sets, guys, and I will see you on the next video.